Uncle Sam goes digital. Venmo and the future of health insurance. The uncomfortable truth. Uncle Sam's debt is growing, but your health insurance might be the price. Imagine a world where the federal government is so desperate to pay off its debts that it's willing to strip millions of Americans of their health insurance. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Unfortunately, this is the harsh reality we're facing. With the national debt constantly breaking records, the government is planning to make drastic cuts, and your health insurance might be on the chopping block. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let's take a step back and acknowledge something. We've taken Venmo too far. I mean, who actually wants to buy the bride a drink or her bachelorette party? And do we really need to be sending Uncle Sam $100 to help pay off his debt? It's time to admit that we've crossed the line. Now, back to the issue at hand. The federal government's plan to cut health insurance for millions of Americans is a stark reminder of the consequences of our growing national debt. As columnist Jessica Carl points out, this is not just a numbers game. It's a matter of people's lives. The question is, what are we willing to do to address this crisis? The national debt, a growing concern. The national debt has been a topic of concern for years, but it's only getting worse. With the government constantly borrowing more money to fund its operations, the debt is growing at an alarming rate. This has serious implications for the economy, not to mention the millions of Americans who rely on government-funded health insurance. The human cost of budget cuts. While the government's plan to cut health insurance might seem like a necessary evil, it's essential to consider the human cost. Millions of Americans rely on government-funded health insurance to access essential medical care. Without it, they'll be left vulnerable and without a safety net. A call to action. So what can we do to address this crisis? For starters, we need to have an honest conversation about the national debt and its implications. We need to think creatively about solutions that don't involve cutting essential services like health insurance. And we need to hold our leaders accountable for finding a solution that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. The bottom line. The federal government's plan to cut health insurance for millions of Americans is a wake-up call. It's time to acknowledge the uncomfortable truth. Our national debt is growing, and it's going to take more than just a few tweaks to fix it. We need a comprehensive solution that prioritizes the needs of all Americans, not just the wealthy elite. What do you think? Do you think the government's plan to cut health insurance is a necessary evil, or is there a better way to address the national debt? Share your thoughts in the comments below. You can now Venmo the U.S. government to help pay off the $36 trillion national debt. You can now Venmo the government to help pay off national debt. By Theo Berman, Newsweek Live news reporter, London, UK. Theo Berman is a Newsweek Live news reporter based in London, UK, specializing in U.S. politics, infrastructure, and technology. He covers issues like Elon Musk's influence in conservative movements and high-profile international projects. Since 2024, he has contributed to platforms like Dexerto, Pink News, and News UK. The federal government will accept Venmo payments from citizens who want to help pay off the national debt. The Treasury has begun accepting Venmo transactions as contributions toward the national debt, which currently stands at $36 trillion. Newsweek contacted the Treasury for more information via email. This adaptation signals a shift toward digital-first government services, emphasizing engagement with younger, tech-savvy Americans. The second Trump administration aims to appeal to this demographic through public finance initiatives. What to know? The Bureau of the Fiscal Service allows voluntary contributions to reduce public debt. Payments can be made via U.S. government platforms like Pay.gov. Citizens can use modern tools like PayPal and Venmo alongside traditional methods. After discussions in May, users can now send donations using Venmo directly from their mobile devices. On Pay.gov, individuals can fill out forms and submit donations using Venmo, enabling real-time payments. In fiscal year 2022, Americans contributed a total of $180,310.32 toward reducing national debt. People are responding positively. Venmo's direct deposit feature helps recipients receive funds from various sources, including the government. Users can provide their account numbers for unemployment, tax refunds, Social Security, and other government payments. Rabin Saw, Regional Vice President of Catalyst Payments, said offering Venmo as a payment option reflects respect for these preferences, making it easier for constituents to interact with civic systems online. What happens next? Mobile payment adoption may lead to digitization of government services and increased transparency in public finance. Newsweek is committed to journalism that's factual and fair. Hold us accountable by rating this article on our fairness meter.